What's the story? What am I going to read? What's the story? What am I going to read? Or maybe I'll sing and dance, so I promise that I won't dance. But what's the story? We'll find out together. We'll find out right now. Hello there, and welcome to What's the Story with Mr. H. That's me. Well, boys and girls, we've made it to the end of another week. We've got a great story today. Actually, it's going to be read to us by a special guest. I'm very excited to share this special guest with you. More on that later. But first, I want to thank all of you boys and girls, as always, for watching the videos, for sharing the videos with your friends and family who you know love stories too, and for subscribing to the channel. I'm having a great time making these videos, and I'm going to keep making them just for you. Parents, as always, I want to thank you for all your support and encouragement as well. And if you have any questions for me or need to get in touch with me for any reason, as always, there's an email address right here that you can use. You can also follow me on Twitter right there. That's a great place to find links to the videos that are easy to share. All right, well, on to today's special guest. Her name is Whitney Miller, and she is the owner of the Moxie Miller Salon in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, where Mrs. H also happens to be a hairstylist. Well, Whitney is going to share with you one of her favorite stories. I want you to pay special attention to the hairband that Whitney is wearing. She created that herself with some really cool flowers and even some sparkling lights. Check that out. Pretty cool. She's also going to share with you one of her favorite stories. I can't wait for you to check this out. So enough of my yakking. Let's get right on to Whitney Miller.
Hi, I'm Whitney Kelly, and today I'm going to be reading Ferdinand the Bull by Munro Leaf. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a very little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He liked to just sit quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here where I can sit just quietly and smell the flowers." His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to just quietly sit under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. All the other bulls ran around, snorting and butting leaping and jumping so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care, so he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him, and that is just what the bee did to Ferdinand. Wow, did it hurt? Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around, puffing, snorting, butting, and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. So they took him away for the bullfight in a cart. What a day it was! Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the banderilleros, with long sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the bandereros were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers and all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the bandereros were mad, and the picadores were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he's sitting there still under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy. The end.
All right. Well, thank you so much to Whitney Miller for sharing that story. Boys and girls, wasn't that a great story? Ferdinand the Bull is one of my favorites too. All right. Well, it's time to close things up for today, and we do that by singing our goodbye song. If you don't know the song, you get a chance to learn it with us today. Come back next time and you can sing it with us. If you do know the song, I want you to sing along with us wherever you are. It goes like this. Be kind in all you do and say. Be creative in how you learn and play. Be the best Y-O-U that Y-O-U can do. And have a great day. Yeah, yeah. Have a great day. Have a great day, everybody.